The space game. Starfield. 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 So let's jump right in.
Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Angelus. I am the very average gamer, and welcome to, finally, the essential beginner guide to Starfield. Now, it's no secret that this game is massive, and as a result there are a lot of new things that we're going to need to cover. Everything that you, as a new player, is going to need to know to start yourself off in the best possible way. This video will not contain anything that will spoil the campaign of the game, so get comfy and let's get this party started. From the offset, the decisions that you make will become very key, and will influence not only how your character stats are, but also the opportunities that present themselves in the futures of your playthrough. The first big choice you're going to have to make is your background. Now, at first glance, these may seem mostly throwaway apart from the 3 skills that they offer. However, there is more to it that the game does not explain. These actually open various dialogue options for your character. Now, my first choice was the file not found. However, I have not actually seen any dialogue options or progression that this has put forward on my playthrough. So I decided to scrap that, and in my second playthrough, I decided to choose Soldier. I'll be honest, I didn't actually look at the backgrounds, I was purely looking at the skills. Only to find that in several different side missions, the Soldier came up and actually helped me progress through quicker than what I would have done alternatively. It all really comes down to the type of character that you want to roleplay. I have been going more as a run and gun style, and naturally, with my Soldier background, these side quests have been easier as a result. We did touch on the starting skills for each background, and each one has a different 3 starting skills that you were given. What this basically means is you start as rank 1 in those 3 starting skills that have come with each of your background. What I want to make clear though is this does not impact anything long term, as you can always spec into a brand new skill at any time you level up. I would suggest to choose a background that has at least 1 combat based skill. This is specifically for your first playthrough, as it will greatly help in those early combat sequences. Now, after backgrounds are chosen, the next big decision that you're going to have to make are your traits. These are completely optional, but they do also open up some interesting opportunities for your game as well. As an example, I've chosen Adoring Fan on both of my playthroughs, both for my love of the character in Bethesda games, but also as an advantage in early game. He does run up to you in New Atlantis and can be added immediately to your crew. It's important to keep your numbers up on your ship, and I'll explain why later. These traits are interesting choices as well, as most of the extras you encounter are rather than permanent effects on your character. So read through them, pick carefully, and remember these are completely optional. You can have anywhere from 0 to 3 traits on your character. So, let's discuss your inventory. This is something which could plague you pretty much immediately, depending on whether you are like me and wish to hoard every item in sight. The inventory is essentially split into 4 different sections: your personal inventory, your ships, your companions, and your outposts. To start, your personal inventory is based on your weight limit. This is enhanced with either gear, skills, and various aid items. Despite this being increasable, you won't however be able to take everything that you stumble across and just stuff it in your pockets. You have a scanner. This will make it easier to see things that are there, and I would only suggest to pick up anything if it is of either decent value or serves an immediate purpose for what you need. However, if you do become over encumbered, you start to dispel O2 with any and all movement. You don't take damage initially, however once your O2 is gone, you start producing CO2, and this becomes maxed. That's when the damage is starting to be applied. So if you are over encumbered, make sure you monitor this carefully. Secondly to this, you have your ship's inventory. Now this is of decent size when you start, however it can be increased to some serious size capacities. Depending on your customization levels of this ship, you may have more or less storage available. Each ship has a minimum of a captain's locker and the ship's full cargo. both of which can be upgraded in the ship builder. Be careful though, as the more storage that you put on your ship, the less speed and maneuverability you will have. You also have different hubs which have different types of storage solutions. One thing you will find a lot of are weapons and various pieces of armour, so I personally would suggest to include some form of armoury hub. These have plenty of storage solutions without taking up anything available in your storage lockers on your spaceship or your cargo hold. You can also rely on your companions to pick up the slack when your pockets are starting to feel a little bit heavy. You do have to limit yourself to their mass limits and will have to manually remove them once you have decided to part ways. Companions are very useful, not only for storage mules, but also for opening your skill options. Each companion comes with their own 3 skills, which also translate over to both upgrades on your ship tech, and if they are following you, they also provide direct skill increases for your character personally. And finally, you have outposts. Honestly, this is basically a mini-game within Starfield that turns out to not be that many. There are so much to cover with outposts. I'm going to be doing a dedicated video just for outpost building, expansion and design that will help you get the most out of it. But for the purposes of this, essentially, you need very little. All you need is an entrance and interior that you can customize. From there, unlike shipbuilding, you can fully customize the interior of your outpost. Spend your time padding this out with as many containers and storage options as possible, and you can keep everything there that overflows from your personal inventory and your ships. Right, before we get on to the next one, I just wanted to thank all of you currently watching the video. The channel recently has received a lot of support in both viewership, likes and comments, and largely that is thanks to Starfield. However, even with all of this, there are only 1.9% of you watching this video that are subscribed to the channel, so I wanted to do a little bit of an experiment. If you have watched one of my videos before, or if you're currently enjoying this one, let me know by subscribing and pressing that notification bell. I am chasing that all-important 1000 subscriber mark, much like every small creator does, and I believe that we can get there with your help. So again, thank you very much for watching, and let's continue with the video. Now, this next one is going to affect every part of your playthrough, and that is the skill tree. There's a couple of skills in Starfield which are going to be needed regardless of your playstyle, and this is just to increase your quality of life experience. All of these skills I would suggest to have at least 1 point in, and it's something for you to increase over the course of your game. Now, as I have mentioned previously, the combat skill tree is one of the absolute essentials, and the main one for you to focus on is ballistics. This is a complete all-rounder. A lot of the weapons you will find in Starfield will fall underneath this category, and with each skill point in this tree increasing the damage by 10%, and then the final point increasing the full range as well. And next we have the tech tree. You're going to want at least 1 point in the boost pack training, security, and the targeting control systems. This increases your mobility on the ground, it allows you to open and pick more locks, and it also allows you to add more ships to your fleet for free. Let me explain how. The targeting control systems allows you in battle to target the systems on opposing ships. You're going to want to target those engines. Once the engines have failed, that will allow you to board their ship, kill any and all survivors, and then pilot the damn thing. Your current ship will be sent to your fleet menu, and all you need to do is land this new one at any major spaceport, and the new ship will be added to your fleet. And that's right, for free. If you do want to customize them, however, you will need to register the ship first, and that unfortunately does cost some credits. And finally, we have the physical tree. Weightlifting and stealth are needed indefinitely. The weightlifting, it increases your carrying capacity each time the skill is upgraded. However, the stealth skill is kind of broken, much like it is in basically every single Bethesda game they have ever released. What you're going to need, even if you're not a stealth player, I mean, I'm not one myself, you're going to need a chameleon piece of armor. Regardless of whether you're detected, you will get sneak bonus on your damage. All you have to do is crouch, remain still, and make sure you're using a suppressed weapon. As long as you have that all set up, you will cruise through the early game, and you'll get that point proc on top. It becomes so powerful early game, dips off a little bit, and then just increases in the power levels towards the end. It is essential. Now, one of the hottest subjects and talking points around Starfield is how you actually navigate and move around the universe. It's massive, and everybody knows that. Thankfully though, despite what has been said in some corners of the internet, Bethesda have actually provided a lot of different options for you to move around. Some of which actually bypass the plague of loan screens, which has caused a lot of fair complaints. Much like any of their previous titles, you can fast travel from almost anywhere to almost anywhere. This has helped if you have visited somewhere before though. You can literally go from an outpost on one side of the universe to the city on the other with one load screen, and that is via the star map. You can access this map at any time, anywhere. The difference here is that there are some limitations on your ship with the grav drive power. On occasion, you may have to do a trip in 2 stages. Basically just go halfway along the route and then fast travel again. This becomes less of a problem once the map is opened up more and your ship gets more upgrades. This also works specifically for your quests. When you go into your quest log, there's always an option in the bottom right to set course. This takes you to your exact position where you need to go. Once you've plotted, all you have to do is just travel to that location. It's made getting lost when you want to move through the game quickly just a complete non-issue. But beyond all of that, there are ways that you can have a more immersive experience. Rather than plotting everything through your star map, you can simply walk up to your ship and enter your cockpit. Press the button to take off and that will give you a load screen, which will take you to the planet or moon's orbit. Then, without going into the menu, as long as you have the mission tracked, you can navigate to that needed location. This will then set a course and another cutscene. Again, once you're at that location, you can select your landing spot. And you guessed it, triggering another cutscene. This is a much longer experience, but it definitely shows a more immersive side of the game and makes you feel like an actual pilot for your ship. And finally, we're onto the must-do questlines. Much like every Bethesda title, there is a lot thrown at you, from faction quests to the main campaign, random side missions and so forth. But it is important to know what is good to focus on at the start of the game. Initially, you have the main campaign. It may start off a bit slow, however it does quickly ramp up in regards to the options you're given and the mission rewards. I would suggest to complete these missions as quickly as possible up until you have the Into the Unknown quest. There is a particular reason why this mission is so good and essential. I won't spoil it here in the video, but at least wait until this mission is completed before you start on anything for the side missions. After that, you're going to be looking for the Mantis questline. During the main campaign, you're going to come across a slab titled Secret Outpost. Once you have read it, the questline will open up, and completing this will give you the best early game ship for free, as well as some pretty OP legendary armor as well. The ship you get, called the Razorback, I personally am still using. I have synced hours into upgrading this bad boy, and has done me well basically my entire playthrough. And then, the final quest that you must complete is called Deep Cover. This quest line is triggered when you try to land on a United Colonies area, like New Atlantis, and you have illegal items on board. You need to make sure that you get arrested and the quest line will start. This is so essential as it opens up the door to you joining the Crimson Fleet. Again, I will not spoil a lot of the rewards and opportunities this gives, however it does allow for easy access to selling contraband and a lot of upgraded possibilities. And just like that, you now know everything that you should know in regards to getting yourself started and everything that I wish I knew before my first playthrough. I will make sure that I am active in the comments below if you have any further questions or just the need for a general discussion on this game. And again, as I said before, if you can smash that like and subscribe button, it would be greatly appreciated. But until the next guide, my friends, take care and peace.